Hello. If you joined me and Steve and Sammy and Andrew earlier today for the panel discussion, thank you very much. That was all about Windows security. This will be quite a different stream, though. Firstly, it's just me and Steve. It's a fairly big change, 50%, really, isn't it?
I left my
We're
keys
just
here from this morning. That's what happened. I left my keys. I had to come back to get them.
yeah, yeah, indeed. I mean, thank you for joining, Steve. And to be fair, obviously, people don't know, but I only asked you to join the stream 53 minutes ago. So thank you for
Oh, no
being
problem.
free
That's fine. Don't
and
worry about it.
jumping in. The message actually said, "Are you free in 53 minutes?" Which just highlights how little time I gave you to prepare. So thank you for that. I think we're just going to sit here until someone says hi or wants to talk about Robopack. Really,
Yeah.
that's probably not true. We should probably talk about something else. Actually, I did want to talk about one feature. We call this an office hours and feature highlight because I had a feature that I haven't really looked at yet, and that is psaddt's integration with custom settings. So we know Robopack uses psadt. In all the demos I've done, we talk about how we wrap the application in psadt, and I say it enables a load of features. One of those features is custom settings. Have you used custom settings much in the stuff you've been doing with Robopack?
Not as much as I should. So that's why I was kind of excited. I'm like, oh, we're gonna look at custom settings. Let's do it.
Yeah, it's actually pretty complex. I was speaking to Magnus the other day because it's if you imagine when a custom setting needs to apply using psadt to a package that's already been built, you've already got psadt, wrapped applications. You need to rewrap it. And I didn't really think about that. They have to do all the automation stuff. I it's automation, so it doesn't cost very much, maybe, but you have to do it again every time a custom setting applies. And so, me messing around with adding new registry keys and stuff like that, it has to react and do a load of stuff in the background. It's pretty complicated. So I thought we could just look at that. Really, that's all this is going to be. Hopefully,
Yeah.
we can figure out how it works. I mean, if all else fails, I can message Magnus, but it's probably a bit rude.
We'll figure. We can figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
Figure it out.
On the topic of application patching, though, heard about Adobe Reader releasing a new version of Adobe Reader, Adobe releasing a new version of Acrobat Reader yesterday, which has a ton of CVEs. I was actually just trying to figure out what they were before we went live. I'm just gonna share my screen.
Mhm.
Hopefully, we'll both stick around on this. No, let me try and get us both back. There we go.
There we are.
Yeah. All right. You can see my screen. Perfect. You can see it. Okay. So I was just looking at the update that came out recently. This one here, which has not that one actually. That's me working through it. There's a ton of CVs around memory leakage and stuff like that. And then I thought I'd have a look at how often Adobe Acrobat actually has been updated. And you can just have spell it correctly. I'll start. And you can go into this and just see how one was yesterday around 3:37 GMT, and then it was only 7 days ago that it released. They released a version. This one doesn't have any security fixes in, but this one has loads. And so I guess if you've just finished packaging this one up, then you're going to be a bit annoyed that you have to do it again if you're not using some kind of automation. So
That's what it is. Acrobat alone is like, I mean, as soon as I started working on Intune in like 2017, that was always, we got Adobe Acrobat. So, I mean, just for this alone, looking at these patches, it's like, you can't be doing this. You need something for this.
It's also pretty big. It's like 7. It's a couple of gig. I can't remember exactly how big it is. Find out.
I think it's like 700 megs. I could be off, but even that is not. Again, that's not a small app. Let's see how big. I don't know. For some reason, I remember 700 megs, but
I can click analyze and build, and it will show me. In fact, I won't do that because I want to go into some custom stuff. So yeah, Adobe Acrobat. The other thing I found out recently about Acrobat is that Robopack automatically makes some changes based on their knowledge of how most organizations should be deploying Adobe Acrobat, like locking down some of the features. I haven't actually looked into it at all, really, so we can look at it. maybe on here. But they set some registry keys automatically, and I didn't know that. And I think it's probably worth highlighting. I'm going to look, and we're going to see what they are in a minute, I guess, and try and figure out why they've set those ones. But then, obviously, what happens if you don't like the ones they've set? That's something we need to figure out, and what happens when that happens. So, let's just quickly. I will analyze and build this one. We're going to wrap it in psadt version 3.10. I'll import it into Robopack, and it's because it's
Oh, that's 675 meg.
yes.
Okay. Got it. Yeah, close enough.
We can actually look at the install script now. I was going to say we can download the package, but I can just actually choose view install script. And I did that. There it is. I've tested that a little while ago, and let's go into it. Here we have the psadt. Is that okay zoom level for you?
I mean, I could see it. Yeah.
Yeah, good. All right. So I'm just going to scroll down through this psadt script, and that's so. And what I thought was interesting was that it actually tells you who the author is as part of it. That's pretty good. It's built that based on my username and stuff. It's got all this metadata in there, which is quite good. I'm scrolling further down. We see. Oh, where is it? Look at these. So everywhere that Robopack seems to add stuff, it says commands added by Robopack, which I think is pretty cool. And what you see is, well, the registry key, feature lockdown, B toggle FTE. I don't know what that is. I think that might be enabling a feature lockdown. And that's set to 1. And then welcome screen, show welcome screen, and just move along. DWORD value 0. Now, I know some of the Robopack team are in the chat, so if I get something wrong or if I say something that is obviously wrong, just please shout in chat.
I think what's good about that, you can look at this 2 ways, right? You can look at this and say, "Oh, that's a lot of registry stuff. Like that's a lot," but you don't have to mess with it, which is good because they're taking care of that. But if you do want to, because on the other side of the coin, every time you take control away, someone says, oh, "I want more control." Well, guess what? Here's your control right here. If you want to be granular, just go for it. So
yeah, indeed. So yeah, we've got all these that are set, and I think the other thing that I did spot when I was quickly reviewing this one before we went live is that you've got them all unset as well, which I think is pretty important. It does remove them afterwards because if it left a load of registry keys, that's probably a bad thing. And so what I wanted to try and do was figure out how we can toggle one of these to be the other way around. So let's say show welcome screen. Maybe we are weird and we actually want to show the welcome screen.
I'll force people to look at that welcome screen.
Force people to understand what Adobe want them to listen about.
Right.
So I want to toggle that to 1. And so I think, now I could be wrong on how you do this. I'm going to grab this key here. And actually, it's the whole thing I need. I'll leave it in minimized while I grab it. But I think we can do that with a custom setting, right? So this is what Robopack automatically set for you. I think we can just override it, but I'm not actually sure. So this is definitely what would be applied. It's in the Intune Win file right now. I will add a custom setting here, and we've got all this stuff here. Where's the registry stuff? So HKey local machine. Let's add that. Now the key is software welcome screen, and what was it? Now this is where I've lost
lowercase b show welcome screen.
Oh, you've got a good memory.
A little bit. There you go.
Was it a D word? And it was
a D word. You want it to be 1. Yep.
Right. Let's leave this off.
Yeah.
I don't know what it'll do. That's an interesting test, isn't it? Because will it remove? Because it's already set by default using their override. Maybe. Let's see. I'm going to leave it as off just to be cruel.
See what it does. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll choose save, and we're not going to put any files there. But actually, let's put a file there. Let's put something stupid on the user desktop, like look, Adobe Acrobat instructions.
There you go.
You might want to put those on the desktop and remove them afterwards. I want to see what actually happens in
I'm going to
psadt.
assume common desktop is the public desktop here. Said leave it on. Robopack said to leave it on.
Leave it as a command. Leave it on as in.
I don't know.
Uh, how do you leave it on? I'll leave it on. I'll do what I'm told. I'll choose save. Let's scroll down, and so common desktop. Let's see where
Yeah, let's see where it goes. I'm going to guess
where it goes.
public desktop.
I expect so, probably. Let's try it. Right. Let's. Oh, I'm going to the top. I'm going to save the settings, and now I guess I need to go back to the app and build it again. Now I know if the app's already out there and being deployed, it doesn't just apply these changes because that would be terrifying.
Yeah, I don't
But
think it can.
no.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have to analyze and build it again. So we'll presumably get the new PS1 down. So I'll analyze and build, wrap it in psadt, and choose import app. And
you have to build an Intune Win ultimately, and
yeah,
that's how the changes are going to get in there. Yeah.
the thing that's just confusing me right off the bat, though, is that's a 600 meg application that I've just applied some custom settings to. Right, this custom setting here. Let's have a look at it. Yeah, it's got my changes. It's got this. Let's just check it's definitely the right one. It is welcome screen set to 1, and it's got my script accessory files. Yeah, so that's the custom setting. If I go back, it's already got it done. But that was literally seconds, milliseconds.
Yeah, that was very fast. That was very fast.
So I don't understand how that works. I'm sure the Robopack team have an answer for it, but I'm not.
I have speculation, but I don't have any
Okay.
tinfoil hats to put on here. So
what I'm going to do is choose download and choose psadt script, which is very similar, I think, to viewing the installation script. But I do want to see what else gets put in psadt. So I'm going to download the whole thing. I'll download the script. Now it might be so fast that it didn't actually do it. Right, I might have to actually go back and try it out. So we'll leave that to download for a bit. This is the magic behind, all the stuff when I do a demo to people who say this is, at the end of the demo, they say, this looks great. And I say, yeah, it's pretty much magic how some of it works.
yeah.
Because this bit is, to me, I haven't given it any thought at all.
Right.
And it just works. There must be so much stuff happening in the background and code and clever automation stuff that I just haven't even thought of.
There's a lot of smart folks behind it who have figured out ways to do these things. I mean, and I agree, right? It's, definitely one of the most, and it's stable too, right? Sometimes you see things that are incredibly fast and it's like, oh, it's too good to be true. And then it's like, well, it works half the time. But I've never had anything not work with this. So that's all the more impressive.
I've had it not work when I've done something stupid and typed in the wrong thing. And I remember I was trying to, I was deploying something for a customer, and when I was adding a registry key, actually, the first time I was using that feature ages ago, I left HKLM in the
key,
string. Yeah, it's just
yeah.
You can't fix stupid, can you? I'm just sometimes I yeah. All right, let's open this
the
up.
other day, the problems between the computer screen and the chair sometimes, and that's where I am, and it's bald. So,
all right. So, I just got rid of that. Let's find my. Oh no, everything's going wrong. Let's find my Finder. There it is. So, I mean, if you're not familiar with, you obviously are, but if you're watching and you're not familiar with what psadt is, it's pretty much these files, and it's a fantastic tool built by Sean, Dan, and I forget his name, begins with an M. Great guy. That team built a framework for deploying applications, really, and standardizing how applications can be deployed. It's actually now the custodians of psadt is Patchfire PC. Most of you will be familiar with their work. They are essentially helping keep this project alive. It's a fantastic thing used by millions, I think. people around the Intune and SCCM space. So it's great that they're keeping it alive. And seeing development. They've actually released version 4 recently. We don't use version 4 in Robopack right now, but we're definitely going to at some point. Mainly because of all this, I assume it's all this automation that we've put into version 3 that is the basis for custom settings, maybe.
Right.
But I don't know. Anyway, what we've got is these folders. These are all standard, and if you have psadt, you will have seen these before. With the app deploy toolkit is where the things like the customizations go. You can build your own custom version of this using Robopack to have your own template. And if I have a look at deploy, you don't really need to do much with this or the config. The one we're going to go into is the PS1 that you just saw earlier on. But in the files, you'll see we've got that raw executable that we're going to be using. And in the support files, I assume, there you go, there's the instructions that I was going to put on the desktop. So these are in the support files. They're not directly related to the installation of the app, but they're supporting files. I guess that's why they would be put there. So I'm going to open up deploy application PS1, go into VS Code, and there is this is it. Yeah. Now, I don't know if it will have the changes that we've set, but I remember they were down here somewhere. Excuse me while I scroll.
Let's see.
It is not there.
There was another area that was 26 commands. The other area was 24 commands. So
that was the removal.
Oh, is that the removal? I thought there was something else.
Yeah. So it's removed. Oh, there you go. Look at the bottom.
Okay.
Show welcome screen 1. Is that exactly what it was? Let's just check. Let me just grab all of that. And I'm sure there's a better way, anyone who uses this regularly. That's it.
Okay.
Show welcome screen 1, and the previous one was show welcome screen 0. So it technically has done the thing I wanted to do. How did it do it that quick?
I have a theory, but since Robopack's watching, I don't want to get it wrong. But
all right.
Either way, that's really good. So, okay, it's at the bottom, which makes sense because it's probably appending it to the bottom.
Yeah.
Cool. And is our file in that package somewhere? That would be the other question.
Is our file... What file?
You added the file to the desktop. Actually, but this is just the psadt part. Probably not. There's probably there's a mention of the file probably in here, but the file probably goes in the Win32 part. So I would just look for a .pdf, I think. Because
good shout.
Right? It was a...
There it is. Copy file. There's a copy file command.
There you go.
From the support files.
All right. Common desktop.
To the common desktop. And that's a variable from psadt, I assume.
Yeah, I haven't seen... Yeah, that's not a PowerShell variable.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
The file is in line 235. Oh, thank you. And I want Robopack to follow me around in life. Like I'll be at Burger King. I'll be like, I get the fries today. It'll be like, get the onion rings. They're better. It's like, thank you, Robopack. I love that.
Yeah, just constantly in your head. Thank you, Robopack, whoever you are. Really helpful. Yeah, it is. It is in line 235. So,
so it did everything. It actually did it that fast. So it worked.
It worked, but that doesn't. I thought I'd uncover some stuff by doing this rather than just saying, "Oh well, great, that's still magic." It's just done it exactly as it needed to. Oh, did it remove it? Let me see. So it removed the entire key at the end. Which I guess is right because you don't want it there afterwards. And if you choose not to remove it, then it's kind of your own fault if it's there afterwards. Interesting. So this is the PS1. And if I go back to my Finder, we have that here. So we've got the support files there, which is referencing. And then this entire thing is wrapped up in Intune Win and delivered to the computer.
So what I think is going to happen is it made the changes to this package that quick. And once you go import to Intune is when it will assemble the Intune Win.
I wish that was the case because then I would be okay. But I can already download the Intune Win.
Oh, Never mind then. Then it's wizards. Never mind. It's magic.
It has done this bit and done this
I
bit
missed that part.
in the time it took me to finish releasing the click.
Oh, that's magic then. That
It
is
is just
very quick.
magic. It is magic. I'm sure when I log into Teams tomorrow, they'll be all over me and and tell me I'm stupid because I missed something. But that genuinely seems magic.
That's cool. We've all wrapped we've all packaged apps before, so we know how long it takes. But
But even the Intune Win process takes
yeah,
maybe the button maybe if I went onto there while it was doing it, Intune Win wouldn't be available, or it would say can't download or something like that. Maybe it's just because I haven't actually tried to do that. But it can't actually be magic. So okay. Good. So we've got some nice people talking in chat. Actually,
Mhm.
while we are here, we've got someone from the Netherlands. We obviously have Robopack telling us what we're getting wrong, which is good to see. We have someone asking about pricing. That's always a hot topic.
I'll give you my
It is
Venmo. It's $1,000 a light now. Let's see.
probably shouldn't do Venmo on here. It is per device per year. That's how it's charged, and there's a range of pricing depending on the number of devices that you are that you'll have in your organization. Obviously, the more you have, the cheaper it is. But the range is between $2 and $5, $2 and $4, I think, per device per year. So incredibly cheap.
Yeah.
So another question from Peter: is there an option to download the detection script? So in this case, we're using a MSI detection method. So there isn't actually a script. And I don't know if Robopack would use detection scripts.
I imagine it would be in the your other package, the psadt. Like if there was something, I wonder if it would just be part of that.
Well, you know, when you're doing let's go back to how do you do it? How do you get to it? There's a way to. Oh, yeah. I was gonna say. I'll click on the Show App in Intune button, but I haven't actually put it in Intune yet, have I? Let me quickly grab.
Oh,
I
just
think
Robopack has spoken. They don't use detection scripts, just rules.
Robopack has
Scripts are on the roadmap. They're speaking to me directly. It's great. The knowledge.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Let's put that on the stream then. So they,
Yeah.
good. Well, that's nice of them to. Yeah, that's good to know. So on the roadmap, it could mean anything, I guess, but it's good to know that they aren't. I mean, but that means they don't need them, I guess.
Yeah,
So now all
you
the
really
stuff
don't.
that
It's additional comp. In the way I look at it, like I mean, at the end of the day, you still have to rely on Intune to deliver the script. And just adding that, depending on what you have, right? I can imagine some scenarios where having an application and a script to detect that, if it's very nuanced, would be important. But yeah, I try to steer clear of that anyway. So I think, rules are fine. So I could totally see that not being an issue. But it's good to know they're looking at it for when we
Mhm.
do need it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when you go into apps, I will have to zoom in a lot. I'll just put something silly on the screen. If we go into apps, and then I think it's in here in detect. Where's detection?
Yeah.
Detection. You can have a script. I
Mhm.
guess that's what you're referring to, Peter. But yeah, not used, not needed yet. It's coming at some point, I guess. Good. So, any more messages in chat? I moved off that screen. We have a joined late, purchased from Robopack. Great demo with Thomas. Excellent. Good. Well, thanks for joining. It is. It's good. It's good to get into the weeds of this, really, and I'm glad Robopack let me. To be fair, I didn't ask them, so I'm glad they haven't told me to stop. That's that's probably good. Right. Any other features of Robopack that you have used or like or want to talk about at all?
I really think the flow is very, very unique and important for
Hmm.
folks. Literally taking the idea of, the Windows update rings and applying them to apps. I always call that out when I talk about Robopack. Um, I think it's invaluable for folks. So,
Yeah, no, I agree. Let's look at that actually. Just before we do,
oh yeah,
so you've said you are using this to help learn the scripting. Yeah, it is. It is useful. I mean, it's worth mentioning that this isn't technically PowerShell. Just to be clear, it's not actually using PowerShell commands, and it's using custom built um, terminology that they've got within psadt to make things better. Um, Sad to be ignored. Oh no, I've ignored someone.
it's terrible.
Oh,
It was bound to
oh, there,
happen.
I found it. I found it, Ajax. I'm so sorry. I didn't ignore you. We were distracted by Robopack. Can you please clarify from the Robopack team if they will support scopes from Intune? So I am not the Robopack team. I can't answer that, but I'm sure now we've put it on the screen and shouted, they will
They
answer, and
they
they will
will
not.
they will answer. Yeah. And I guess you're for clarification, right? You're talking about because right now you can import the app to Intune and then from there, do your assignments and your scopes. But I know from here you can do assignments. So I'm assuming we're talking about doing the scope tags directly in the app in Robopack for Intune. Where are the scopes?
I
Why
don't know.
why don't I see them?
Scopes, scopes, scopes. Oh, I see. So scope isn't scope more of a way of limiting what admins can see within an Intune environment? Isn't
Yes.
that rather than I was thinking for some reason I thought filters when we were thinking when we
No,
were talking apps.
it's for RBAC.
Hmm.
But I thought you can tag an app.
Oh, I
Um,
see what you're saying. Right. Yeah.
I was almost positive, but you never know.
Hmm.
Let's see. Properties. Yeah, you can. It's just
Where
just scroll all the way to the bottom.
I did.
I don't know why it's not there for you. It's there for me on my
I mean, I
Intune.
don't have any scope tags in the environment. Maybe that's why.
Okay, could be. Yeah, it's okay. So you can tag an app, and then the answer from Robopack is they are not on the roadmap, but if you need them, we'll add it. Well, that's
Wow.
okay. I mean, can't get a better deal
Uh,
than that.
that is a dangerous thing to say on a YouTube stream because I'm sure lots of people can need lots of things. But cool if it can go on the roadmap. I think that's the nice thing about Robopack being a relatively new product. It's still being built. We saw Radar being added relatively recently, which is that feature of scanning an Intune tenant for apps that are already there.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that was a problem. I didn't know it was needed um, until you start trying to deploy Robopack across an organization and realize actually that's pretty useful to be able to see what you don't know.
Yeah.
Um, you said flow, didn't you? I want to go into a flow
I did say
because
flow. Yeah.
because we the traditional way of using a flow is to go into here and choose create flow. These are all really specific things that I don't. I mean, if we have time, we can probably go into in a bit more depth. But you probably have a hard stop soon because I dragged you in from nowhere.
Eh,
Um, if I choose create flow, we'll see we've got this wave concept where we can add, the IT pilot. Oh, let me choose a tenant. That's another thing that's just been slightly updated and keeps putting me back a bit. We can add this IT pilot group first, right? And then maybe another wave and stuff. There's no limit to the number of waves, I think. Um, if I choose save and start deployment, that will have the waves, right? But doing that for every application you package in the same way, I think I was speaking to um, Ronnie, the CEO, at an event in, gosh, where was I? Copenhagen a few days
mhm.
ago, and he said they found out from the metrics that they've got that actually if a customer uses one wave type, they will use that wave type all the time. So there's only a few different waves types being used, or combinations of waves being used within customers. I mean, they obviously can get that information because it's their platform, and they get that. So that's where patch groups came in, because actually, if you're only doing it one or two ways, then group them
Yeah.
together and just have it selectable. So you saw I'll remove these waves because that's going to be confusing. I'll just go cancel here and go back to here. It says deleted. Oops. I will stop messing around and I'll go back to Adobe. Grab
Yeah.
this one. I'm going to choose
No, the patch groups are perfect, especially when you're getting to that maturity level where you are tiering your applications by persona. Tried once to set a custom variable. This was your program path to C Python, but it didn't work using editor. You show how to add the path.
Change the path of the Python installation from standard pro from custom variable. I don't know. I'll try and figure that out. I'm sure it's possible, and maybe even Robopack will bestow upon us the answer in a moment. I don't know. I'm sure it's possible through a custom setting, or even through. I don't know. I'll take that offline if that's
Yeah.
okay. Thank you for the question. Just on here, because you were saying patch groups are incredible because you don't have to
Yes.
do that thing. Let's just quickly set up a flow. And you saw last time I chose setup flow, we had to add the waves and choose the groups and stuff. I could have copied them from an existing deployment, but then you have to remember which deployment is the one you wanted, and that's not ideal. And the patch group idea is that when we choose which patch group, let's say we've got this IT testing available to all patch group, that's going to go to my IT testing group and be available to everyone. I can choose that, and there it is. It's ready to go. I can just choose create flow, and it already exists, so don't test too many times. It's now going to my IT test computers, at least when it is when I choose start. It'll go to my IT test computers, and then it will go to everyone. And that's the demo I showed on the live stream earlier on. It's such a quicker way to use this wave concept that we've had since Robopack kind of started. Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. I think it's really useful. And then when you want to make a change, you can see this is all grayed out. I can't actually edit this, which is really neat. And if you go back to the top, it says it's because it's part of a patch group. And you can imagine if you start messing around with this for Adobe and not realizing that you're changing it for all of the apps in the patch group. It's really nice that they've thought of that. I think it's a good way to use.
It's a very, I think the word about this, it's a very considerate product. When you think about the ways, I like things that take the point of view of a practitioner. I'm a practitioner of Intune. I use it, or if you're an admin. So it's like, what are the considerations? And this is just one of them, right? Like, hey, listen, apps are going to fall into different types, right? So you might have a wave like highly critical apps that go through a much lengthier testing process than like Notepad++. So you can tier them, and like the consideration of like, hey, this is, you don't want to touch this because it'll mess with the broader group. So everything seems very well thought out, and that's just something, as someone who lives in Intune can appreciate that. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's right, and I think that's one of the reasons I think Robopack is it feels like such a mature product, even though it's really quite new as a concept.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, why I fell in love with the idea when I started using it a few months ago, because it was able to do all the stuff that I needed it to do, and it respected the fact that I need to do it in my way rather than how they want me to do it. And it's just fantastic to see. There's a question that I'm going to just put on chat very, very quickly. Put my mouse on the right screen, which is, when is Radar V2 coming? So Radar V2 is, in fact, I haven't even talked about Radar yet. Let's very, very briefly talk about Radar just while that's there. I'm going
Yeah.
to scan my dev tenant.
Yeah,
You'll notice it's
Robopack
scanning.
was kind enough to answer it, which is cool.
So they were.
They got you to it. Looks like
Okay.
a week or two of testing, and then that.
So they did.
Awesome.
So that's V2, but Radar V1 is this thing here where you see which apps are in Intune, but not in Robopack, which will probably be everything when you start, and also the ones that are not in Intune but are discovered on devices, which is also something you should know about. But the thing that's missing, and I see it already, is that if Chrome isn't an app you want in your environment, and yet you found a version of Chrome out there, and by using Radar, you want to get rid of it. And that right now, the only way to get rid of it is to package Chrome and push an uninstaller, which is a bit.
It's much. It's a
Not.
bit
It's
much.
not. It's a lot. It's a lot considering what you're trying to do. So what they're doing, I think, is making it more slick, and so it'll be either a button or something that will allow you to remove that without having to actually package it up and put it up to Intune and all that mess.
Oh, nice.
So they're working on that, which I think that's part of V2, maybe, but it's definitely something I know is missing. I might have just misspoke, and it's not part of V2, but it's definitely something they're going to be working on because I've had a ton of people come up to me and say that we need that bit. If Robopack wants to tell me what is in V2, then please do let me know, because I've just realized I've been saying that. To do searching for documentation, Python. Oh, that's Robopack. Okay, fine. Thanks. Right, next question. Pretty final question from the chat. Will dependencies be possible? We often have custom apps which need dependencies. Yeah, you're right. So I don't know if you noticed this, Steve, but actually when Robopack uses dependencies for instant apps, it just sticks them in the psadt. So if it knows it needs VC redistributable,
Sure.
then it will stick that in the psadt and install it if it's the right, if it isn't there, and not install it if it is there. But that's unlike app supersedence, which Robopack fully supports and uses and leverages, and it doesn't do dependencies yet. So I mean, that's what the question is. I don't know the answer, but the Robopack team maybe will be able to answer, and if not, we will definitely let you know in the comments after this. Josh has answered what my question about Radar V2. So where it can target machines directly rather than group based. I think there's lots of things coming in Radar V2 because I haven't heard of that one yet.
Yep, they just dropped it on us. So Robopack has spoken. If you want to throw that one up, it looks like that's what's coming in V2.
Automatic background scanning, that's the one. Deploy patches broadly and only installed if the product is installed. What? So you could deploy Chrome to everyone and only install it. Only actually, that sounds good. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Well, that's good. That's awesome. Next, final question from Ajax. I don't want to ignore you anymore. Does Robopack support app which have their own preparation tool like SolidWorks? I mean, if you can't install the app silently, you need to get it to a state where you can install it silently. Otherwise, all the stuff that we're doing here doesn't work. And Robopack isn't an application packaging solution. It's an automation solution that picks up where Intune drops a lot of the balls. So probably can't. Actually, I'm assuming it can't. But Software Central, who have a very close partnership with Robopack, do have a solution for packaging applications very easily called Smart Package Studio, so maybe they can help. But no, Robopack isn't. It's just not that tool. Okay, so I did have a couple of things I wanted to say. There's this book a demo thing. I'm going to stop sharing my screen now. If you do want a customized demo and a personal demo, then obviously you can just scan that QR code and one of the team will reach out. It might be me, it might be someone else doing a demonstration with you, but really we can see how it can work in your environment if you like. And also, you'll be there, won't you, Steve? Workplace Ninjas UK.
Yep.
You're coming over the pond to
I will.
this.
I got my passport and everything. I'll leave in the country finally. So
incredible.
I know.
I'm blown away by the fact that you didn't have a passport. As a European, all the Europeans in the chat will be with me You need a
I've
passport, my friend.
I've been told many times it's a very American thing to do. So apparently, as long as I'm meeting expectations, I'm happy to oblige. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be good.
Yeah. It should be fun. Yeah, when we're selling tickets incredibly quickly. We've got 2 tiers of tickets. We have expo only, so just you can go and see the vendors. We've got like 20 vendors that are going to have stalls and demonstrate their products, get swag and that kind of thing. And that's much cheaper than the one that gives you access to the 60 so sessions that we've got running over the 2 days. But yeah, they're selling pretty quickly now, which is great to see. There is one final question from Peter, and I want to show it because I appreciate we haven't talked about it. Can you drag the executable on the main page and let Robopack try and build it? Yes, you absolutely can. And if Ronnie, the CEO, is watching, he loves to do the drag and drop. That's his favorite bit, and he will probably kick me in the kindest way if I didn't show you that you could drag and drop. So I'll just quickly show you that from the main homepage of Robopack, the app page. You have this convert package button. You can click convert package, and you can maybe drag in this global secure access client here. I mean, if I have it in Finder, let me find it over here. I'll find it in Finder. That's a thing to say, isn't it? I'm going to drag this here. And if you take your global secure access client, you can just put it here and it will start that process of package. I said Robopack isn't a packaging solution, right? But it can help you build custom packages by taking a thing that it can be installed silently and wrapping it in psadt with all. I mean, if you just watch here, if I just choose continue, it will automatically get the silent install command for me. I've not told it what the silent install command is. That just works, and if I was to go through the whole demo, which I'm happy to do at some point, but not right now, it will then figure out how to detect it and how to uninstall it just through, I'm going to say it, magic. And I think, Steve, maybe we should go into a deep dive at some point in the future as to how that particular magic works, because it is there, it's in the logs, you can figure it out.
Yeah, that we should. That's definitely an interesting. That would be an interesting deep dive, I think, especially for how interested everyone is in the stuff. So I think everything
Indeed. Well,
can kick out of it. Yeah,
I'm interested. I mean, I'd love to figure out how that works. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And okay, as Robopack have said, drag and drop is a delight. Yes, maybe that is Ronnie thinking about it. Thank you for your help today, Ronnie. Okay, well, that is all I think we've got to share. Unless you have anything you want to briefly say, Steve.
I don't. No, I don't. This was fun. I'm glad. I'm glad I was available.
Excellent. Me too. Yeah, I think this would have been less fun as a monologue. Yeah, I probably would have got through it, but I'm glad you were here.
I think so. No, for sure.
Excellent. All right. Well, for now, I'll see you next time.
Absolutely.
See you.